Bank. Unim say Ghanaian entrepreneurs one very good Ghanaian brand Santike. Santike omoye bespoke leather slippers and sandals. Santike. Each pair is carefully crafted with the finest materials and attention to detail. And you put it tuned together. Skilled artisans are omo pride is in their work, ensuring that every pair is unique and made to your specifications. From the moment you slip on any of our slippers or sandals, you'd feel the difference. Handmade leather slippers and sandals. And we don't just give you luxury. We ensure, say, you invest in your comfort and style. Santike. We bring luxury to your feet. Ubitma order online. Santikeonline.com. Santike, S-A-N-T-E. K near K-A-Y. It is santikeonline.com. Ubitma send you a WhatsApp message and so 0572 683 529 0572 683 529. And as a showroom, Obodoi Street, New Achimota. Obodoi Street, New Achimota. Kofitonto, Akwa Babiu.
Obi, Major so bibia bakode.
Adomia
Edanyamiase.
Nsema sisi.
Bebre pa na nsɛmni bi wɔ ha ya adwen sɛ yɛ nka ho asɛm bio nti no we'll just let it be.
Ɛyɛ deɛ you want to me deɛ na
oh sɛ na no di nkɔmɔ bebre ne adeɛ na you know BBC for reach out
okay
sɛ ɔmo pɛ sɛ me di asɛm no ho nkɔmɔ na me ka kyerɛ mo sɛ dabi it's one thing criticizing systems within an institution in our nation.
Yes.
And it's another thing, so me participate in trumpeting the negatives of my nation. I know they mean it.
Okay.
I won't participate in that. And it's from so be na air course or baby ba community be a bekasa ebe chere ya dwen nsempanyumfo beto omonza freya.
Yes.
Ya no mo bekasa na adwenkyira ye wo kwan ase e fa so dane niam ma ne yemre ma processes easier for all Ghanaians. We will. But sese bi o me be fa trumpet na mabum we ase afa na nyina say me nko am mind e say ni say na fa no I will not participate in that. Yeah. It's a stance I've taken.
Okay.
Say for the sanctity, sovereignty, and dignity of our nation. Some of us will engage whoever wants to engage us behind the scenes. Na and share the go
in a way relative to Ghana Embassy.
Ghana Embassy and Yamano. So me say we interview the gentleman.
Frank, is it Frank or Fred?
No, Fred.
Yes, Fred.
So I've decided to me ni hon komo bio na yenhwe ekwan a ebetimi afa so na yede nhyehyeye egu akwan mu. More importantly, as a minister na my hu, I think say it should go beyond the statement. I'm sure so be called parliament.
Yes.
There's so my hu measures are odi gu akwan mu. Nti one more also odi omoko no mo ye hwan. You know.
If I don't dada. Omo come down or be reported say on omo first day no omutimi issue be 800 visits.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So against what numbers before. Okay. These are all things that may encourage you say minister no be stay away from some of these things. Or call parliament. No my parliament in who why na ade omo background den. E den ti na wo choose safo no. E den na kire say omo ne betimi eden sesan aba are they going there permanently and now say a short term say interim on so plans are would put in place for long term solution anything apart from that the world over e dey nhyehyɛ na would gu akwan because sabe watimi wa kame ba ko bi wo ba bia enye ehonko I'm sure the world over.
Sure. There
are other challenges. Even if Fiempo, so there were several institutions and not just the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but there were several institutions there are gaps your service delivery so kwan ben na ye fa so overall you betimi improve service delivery amagana for me we ni niema ehun hia but o ma yehu sabe animdifo na ode omo kọ no ma parliament at least yehu omo background and the immediate medium and then long term plans or to make sure say bibia ebekoso totin. And I think so far that's the comment I will make. Some of us we are proud of the contributions you make here. Obi me sabi mra me call embassy no. I was just about 31 years or so when I became the head of information. Ohwe akwanya o mine de ma me era ambassador Jebewa de ma me someone na ye some my Ghana. There are a lot of things that I'm proud of. Me ko to me nua baba ko e friend Angeline Adi. Angie na at the time we adwuma ho be 20 years, you know, and now Angie reported to me in the informations department. But you know, Obi, your national heroes any heroines are Obi and Momo. So and she's one of them. There are a lot of heroes at the embassy almost ye juma din e de aboa omano. So what I say, and she's one of them. And there are several, you know, Madam Tamaklo, but she worked directly with me. And some of the major achievements are you know, Oyobia or Boy Obi year of return. Ye dimut into mine, the embassy played a major role. So inti nyani na ye bad sir. So you know, the year of return, what should the impact Ghana nyaye. Ambassador led the charge. Say you bet ton on my Ghana. Ewa Bruchimemo working with Minu Ekosiisen and then the team. Ewa ha say and then the year of return committee. Newa ha. And you know the impact. The ton on my Ghana and the Mimi department was in charge of the promotion, projection, working with, you know, like I said, Akosimo, Mekaise, Nese Mekohampton, where the first slave ship at Docky, culminating the 1916, I forgot the exact, but that was the place at the first slave ship at Docky, culminated the 400 years commemoration. You know, Ambassador Smame Mame Koho, you know, all the works we did to make sure, say, COVID by Ambassador again. Yanko Bo my Ghana, my department, we led the charge. We raised $70,000. My name's Obekaya. Yeah, Debe Boa, COVID center. Last week I spoke about a Juma department in the year in charge to make sure say United Airlines Ebeba Ghana. You know, se Mikasa Nema Bebre, the virtual concert ene Sony Badu ene Joe Metal and all these brilliant artists ne ade enti obi enye ni nyina na bonesa yehu ni sa so ene there are other consulates omo bie se minister show mo kena omo adwuma no mu betimi ayeden atre unim se consulate na bie na honorary consulate ade ba ko anipa nim ni se enye Ghana aban na bo ho ka o krankre na ya yo consul no wo na ofa ka ni nyina you literally foot all the bills. You get the location, you pay for everything.
The individual
no you are responsible for all of that expenses.
And then you recoup your money.
You recoup it when obi beye visa now the bibi kekra atoso. So you recoup it over a period of time. So what I say. These are all the enema esi ehwe ne etrimu na adwuma no etimi ekonani. Now obi Mary no member politics. And then
as an topics on our table in Tujami, and you can have your preliminary comments. Nothing I shall to us. So, Unim said the Office of the Special Prosecutor. The ultimate modema former finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta and then Nana Erson in the end Nana was said or appear before the Office of Special Prosecutor, but we are told send the lawyers at Akoma OSP say we're saying ya a kind of saying obi yare na say ne ho turn as a relapse bi aba na ade no assign age nsemu bio twumu nso de ade na assign so age nsemu bio ntine lawyers ni chire mu anya ade a obetumi appear before the OSP and as planned. Now we're making itself available say through electronic means no betimi any OSP akasa. We are told say and then you may OSP by press conference now or the way forward no atuja. That's something we'll touch on. Sound so and chairman won to me lawyers I withdraw the application for variation of the bail condition no and no pay it's been withdrawn until we also told so Monsaka two sureties no our presented documents in to Ioko and the expectation from party for no and they say enumerate by close of the end no na Ioko a jai chairman won to me say onko fuel prices and so we are told it will fall significantly if free and run expected. But we'll see how and also about science so ako in the nyina ye nsemo a egu yapno so higher sempa FM in the yes Kofi
Obi edi kan ene dwumadie fefefe bi koso Jubilee House
yes
eye yura otekokoso na say tu otosumi no nyamekese asante manura Obesra Omanpenny John Dramani Mahama ewo Jubilee House na minyamre ehwe dwumadi na ekoso nyina no various platforms ekovai na wohwe ensemu a yura kan ye futu semu a ode ma yura John Dramani Mahama abasobode a ode ma no de nani aso the office obetimi aye ne sa na mani nyina I think say generally ekoye Oshe Yura Mahama so nsem kan na generally nanya bad or can history about how answer crown obeyo mampenya be de chira Yura John Evans Atamels of blessed memory eto ne nsafre ne ze omeye no abedi chiri no so onye na okai se Yura omampenyi na Yura otumfo na a friend no buy say no sa konya we dey man empa ho nti ko na koye the running mate no nti or can say baby na wa bedri Yura otumfo contribution na anyama ba ku mienu bi farmaso mu a I think say it deserve see be correct they the kind it's interesting say ene Yura Mahama kasa no or kasa say na hoahoa se iro otumfo age boko nsem no na oso obeso ano asempa ye nyina ye bompa ye se sansem no ye betimi aso ano na ye nru baabi a nanka ekeka kono but mi gidi se afutu sem kese pa koma Yura John Dramani Mahama say never again must he use conflict to pursue political aspirations. Never again. And I say, what they sebe and to qua that and you are forming term at the politics. Because you know, I had 10 someone here, John Dramani Mahama, can a fat bokun some. So I say, and ne when who say, who be here, see a bet Tanasonia so asemna noa or no way can dinino and any party never again. Never ever again. Nanka me hwe say anka nenkasa yemumpo no obe find a way to apologize for a kwanya or fast so de bokonsem politics. A train ahenie ba ko gina ho e pagya ba ko e train ba ko gina fom e kan ne hye. So I am glad. Say at least going forward, no. Young fanya politics bill. NDC will make sure. Say ye ko yenim no. Sadia no mon fanya politics bill because a bomb mind, a good mind, a say mind. They toss me no. You're John Dramani Mahama e kan simbi. Say all kasano na or my feedback about and I will catch the era say and near ma mo be ya ma santemai. Now some back kwa era John Dramani Mahama can say omo ye feasibility to start the new dualization project between Kumasi and Ashanti region and
Kumasi.
Kumasi
and Accra.
Yeah.
New dualization project.
Omo ye feasibility studies to build Kumasi to Accra dualization project. Let me busa me say how. Say I then Kumasi Accra no your direction for Frobiana. Me bacho unim direction for Kumasi from Kumasi to Accra now from Accra to Kumasi unim direction for because they mean say the dualization project no I started obi me boa ka kira me say me boa
say ye hu your friend is saying diversion routes now. Is it even
apart from the diversion route now no your bypasses the Kumasi Accra highway no started free hin so we free Nkran ha started free
no free Nkran ha say never chance here from say we no is it
your friend from Ofanko all the way to Kumasi
yeah but say o my your Ofanko no to Nsawim
obisa where does it start
no where does it start my point is okay baby started from no ya started a project yeah no a 10-lane project. Sure. 5 here, 5 there, with 3 interchanges.
Yes.
Anamebwa.
Yes.
I think about 4 interchanges rather. All the way to Nsawam. Utra Nsawam total now. Yes. Is it part of the Kumasi dualization project or not?
It should be.
It is. And you can say feasibility studies for from tells you. They are tossing me, Utra kwafu utra Nsawam total na efiri ho kɔ no efra no kwafu krom ɛhɔ no yɛwura President Kufuor ɛna share that dualization project na se ɔyɛ no yɛwura Mills yɛwura Mahama emre so ɔma anya ho hwee ɛna Kufuor do ba ɛna obewie ɛna obi about 3 years ago ni ɛna ebie sa stretch no meboa ka kyerɛ me sɛ meboa enti
kosi suhum na
ɛdabi ɛkwa kosi unse ukwa akodru suhum na watoa so akodru Apedwa junction
yes
so ati ase kodru Apedwa junction yaye nti say nei the dualization is from Kwafu Krom all the way to Apedwa junction udru Apedwa junction na dualization ending no ahoye osi na Apedwa junction here Chebi we make left turn to Chebi yes ehona ending yes ehona Apedwa junction yes yɛwura Kufuor do ba he no wa be wie ho nei ɛyɛ adwuma ma yɛ nyina yɛnya so mfaso ana meboa now ufri Apedwa junction ekopim Linda door ho no osino no ɛho ɛna yɛn dualize
basa
ɛno mpo no emra yɛ be free aban so no yɛ started the process to rehabilitate the entire stretch to ba kaya asenso ɛkɔ ho minister say yɛ bedwi unse the way akwan so ye dwisu nyina na ya sa de quota for Friday eguso eno de wan kase ye be dualize so from a ho to Linda door a ho de se wo se wo be dualize ho na no problem
yes
now wo drew Linda door unsa bonkum so wo make wo man wo left
na wo ko bum so no
dabi bunsu ye straight se bunsu ye right wo drew left a siakwa Ukwesiakwa will make it left. Just as your turn at the Siakwa junction, no, Linda door will be on your right. A hona ube say you started bypass. And to bypass is near 4 bypasses. Osino bypass, Enyirisi bypass, and Yinemu bypass, and then Konongo Ejoso bypass.
Yes.
Now there's another bypass Ekopi and Koko, unse no die hodada. So the question I'm asking myself therefore is, Mr. President, dualization for ben bio na also obey no. And I will be trying for an answer saying I don't understand it. You will continue. Baby, draw.
me yantimi anya mama example say from Apedwa Junction to Lindador eno de so ye single way say e bia meye ho other gaps e didam no unless Mr. President is saying say obetwa kwan foforo from a part of Accra all the way to Kumasi no na obeye ho new feasibility study because want me twa e kwan ko Accra obetwa mu wo sebe untwa mu wo eye your friend say ofanko anameboa. I don't understand it. Look, let it be stated. So Obian to me may claim credit for anything they haven't done. Sana and then Mr. President as I was saying, and then we will continue with the Swami project. Mr. President, Swami project no na shall say.
So also continue.
T. Ushe nano ye tu abanu wiye. No me ba Atik. I just want to state it for the record. Ye tu abanu wiye na minua Ashanti Regional Communications Director. NDC. Okay. Abbas Nuruddin. Yeah, video be no de to abonti. Unim do ye. Or yeah, no see Kumasi Swami Interjet project or can on record say it is a 0% completion. Ye to abanu we ya no yes a video. And I'm a friend I'm say Abbas my main cancer chiro. Sa propaganda we no beka ofon so. Se unimu ameka chiro. You cannot distort any fact. And that attempt to create the impression sabe oba ye the obia ye na obeto aso. Okay. And nay ofa kaswa to Winneba Junction ye ofa adenta to Dodowa ye Temamoto way Ekufuado Shase a wo pen hu sika nso ye den e de to ho ye enti
that's a major road thing na motache
of course
enti say omoye road bi area
na da bi o na wunti kroma da bi Atik wunti kroma
no me I but you didn't find it funny
no
you were not excited about it
no it's not about excitement Atik say who ye bibi na wan fa block okran to for mo I have every right to claim sabe aban bia tumi susu bibi o aban bia tumi susu bibi Yera Mahama so obey ring road around Ashanti region. And he say big cars
around Ashanti region.
Yes.
Kumasi.
No, so just in Kumasi.
Yeah.
So what he said was that
Greater Kumasi.
Okay, what he said was that Udru Ejuswa instead say big cars in na be or mobile bypass ya kusi Techiman is the word the town he used. And it looks like they want to do some kind of a ring road around the major cities, which is a brilliant idea. So and Yera Mahama Susu ye, but so one started our project now. It remains an idea. But so Yera Mahama started now or you know be twice. You cannot take that away from Yera Mahama. Say Yera Mahama na yes our project, especially when I was secure funding was started project no Ekoso. These are the facts.
Very well.
Until you don't come and claim projects I will be a shot here all yet and say
he just said
I've told you
also be feasibility study
to dualize
Accra Kumasi.
Now be a feasibility study for what? That's the question
for
I asked.
Dualization.
No, my country said dualization. No one anonymity here. You can dualization.
You see any dual road there?
And you see up to the Apeja place now all cano.
Any
what are you saying?
What
are you saying?
But some fin
what is Atik saying?
No, but Kofi, so what the currents? What the young fan say? Young fan from Insawim.
Yeah,
from Insawim air corner. You think up to Apeja? Do I win a year in the state?
No, my point is.
That's another question.
My point is, you can raise a point. Say, "Bia, obey in 4."
Okay.
Obey in 5.
And as obey say gusu.
And as obey gusu bio.
There was supposed to be other lanes.
You see, you obey to me. I can do so can be. But it doesn't change. No, Atik.
Continuation of what has started.
Mahama no kasai. The point is, obeying to me messes anything. I mean, I'm surprised you are saying say Mahama so obey new feasibility study na yenye Kumasi Accra dualization. I'm surprised you are saying that. Atik.
No, so obey feasibility study. Me no nyina to me say as far as we speak.
Kofi Tonto and Honorable Mama Missima Be Inum Ma Yenko Office of the Special Prosecutor or a press conference on Ken Ofori-Atta Yenko Tiemrani and Twaso.
Special Prosecutor accepted Andy Thomas Owusu's offer of restitution and reparation to the Republic on the following considerations in accordance with Section 71(4) of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, Act 959. One, the history of Mr. Owusu with respect to criminal activity. The level of cooperation Mr. Owusu exhibited during the investigation. The likelihood of obtaining a conviction if the case proceeds to trial. The probable effect on witnesses of a trial and the need to have exhibited during the investigation. The likelihood of obtaining a conviction if the case proceeds to trial. The probable effect on witnesses of a trial and the need to avoid delay in the disposition of other pending cases. 3. National Petroleum Authority. In November 2024, the OSP commenced investigation into suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses in respect of the operations of National Petroleum Authority, NPA, and the activities of some of its officials. The OSP investigation has revealed that between 2022 and 2024, some high-ranking and other officials of NPA devised and implemented a corrupt scheme of using public office for profit through threats, intimidation, coercion, suggestions, bribery, and inordinate regulatory duress to obtain for their personal benefit large sums of money from oil marketing companies and other entities under their statutory regulatory, licensing, oversight, and monitoring mandate in the petroleum downstream industry. As at the close of business on 30 May 2025, the OSP had uncovered, through tracing and trailing, an amount of 280,516,127 cedis and 19 pesos, being proceeds of the corrupt scheme, some of which has been used by the perpetrators to acquire identified and traced apartments, suites, houses in country and abroad, 22 fuel haulage trucks, and the incorporation, acquisition, and operation of oil marketing companies to compete with the oil marketing companies they were regulating. The OSP, before the end of June, would file criminal charges against the first batch of the perpetrators and complicit oil marketing companies and their officials. Upon filing, we will brief you in detail in respect of who did what, who acquired what, and what has been recovered. 4. Kenneth Nanayao Ofori-Atta. We recall that by a letter dated 24 June 2025, Kenneth Nanayao Ofori-Atta, a former Minister of Finance, was informed that the OSP had commenced investigation into suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses regarding cases in respect of which the OSP considered him a suspect. Further, he was directed to attend in person the OSP on 10 February 2025 for interviewing. Mr. Ofori-Atta was out of the jurisdiction at the time. By a letter dated 31 January 2025, Mr. Ofori-Atta informed the OSP, through his lawyers, that he was out of the jurisdiction indefinitely on medical grounds, and that the firm will notify the office of his arrival in the country in aid of rescheduling his personal attendance at the OSP. Further, the lawyers offered its willingness to provide the OSP with any information we may require to aid in the investigation until his arrival in the country. Upon receipt of these representations from his lawyers, the OSP, by a letter dated 5 February 2025, informed Mr. Ofori-Atta that the OSP did not need or required notification from his lawyers of his future arrival in the jurisdiction. The OSP acknowledged his lawyer's offer to provide us with information in aid of the investigation. However, the OSP insisted that his personal attendance at the OSP was required. The OSP directed Mr. Ofori-Atta to indicate by close of business on 10 February 2025, a reasonable date of his return to the jurisdiction and attendance at the OSP. The OSP warned him that if he failed to do so, the OSP would take all necessary legal steps to secure his return to the jurisdiction and attendance at the OSP at our own choosing. Mr. Ofori-Atta failed to indicate a reasonable date of his return to the jurisdiction upon the expiry of the 10 February 2025 deadline, except to still persist in his expressed intent of remaining indefinitely outside the jurisdiction by the transmission of his lawyers of a purported and brusque medical letter on 10 February 2025, which only sought, in effect, to state that he may undergo a possible surgical intervention in March 2025. In the considered opinion of the OSP, that medical letter could not be held to be a disclosure of a reasonable date of Mr. Ofori-Atta's return to the jurisdiction and attendance at the OSP, since it merely indicated that there may be a possible surgical intervention that may or may not occur in March. The letter, which was in no way a medical report, neither stated nor demonstrated that Mr. Ofori-Atta was a travel risk or that he was an invalid who needed around-the-clock intense medical attention to the point that traveling to the jurisdiction would endanger his life. Upon the expiry of the 10 February 2025 deadline, the Special Prosecutor publicly declared Mr. Ofori-Atta a wanted person and a fugitive from justice on 12 February 2025, on the ground that his avowed posture of remaining indefinitely outside the jurisdiction, without indicating a reasonable time of his return to the jurisdiction, showed clearly that he had no intention of voluntarily returning to the jurisdiction. By a letter dated 17 February 2025, Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers transmitted to the Special Prosecutor a communication laced with vituperation and designed variously as a denigration of the OSP, a lecture on their suppositions as to the mandate of the OSP, a threat of legal action, a sort of homily as to how the OSP should conduct its affairs, an attack on the person of the Special Prosecutor, and a suggestion that the Special Prosecutor had embarked on a personal vendetta against Mr. Ofori-Atta without disclosing the alleged series of retaliatory, vengeful, or hostile acts the Special Prosecutor had directed at him, or alleged exchange of such acts between Mr. Ofori-Atta and the Special Prosecutor. Crucially, a 17 February 2025 letter from Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers failed to indicate a reasonable date of Mr. Ofori-Atta's return to the jurisdiction and attendance at the OSP. On this reckoning, the OSP, by a letter dated 17 February 2025, reaffirmed and restated to Mr. Ofori-Atta that he remained a wanted person and a fugitive from justice. The OSP further stated that this tag will so remain until he indicated a reasonable time of his return to the jurisdiction, with the necessary and reasonable assurances of abiding by his indicated reasonable time, or until such time that the OSP enforces return to the jurisdiction and attendance at the OSP, whichever came first. By a letter dated 18 February 2025, Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers communicated to the OSP that he was scheduled for a possible surgical intervention in the United States on 20 and 21 March 2025. And further that, taking the date of the possible surgical intervention into account, he would require a recovery period of 6 to 8 weeks. On this basis, his lawyer stated that he should be able to return to the jurisdiction between 14 and 30 May 2025. On the same day, by a letter dated 18 February 2025, the OSP graciously acceded to Mr. Ofori-Atta's request to return voluntarily to the jurisdiction between 14 and 30 May 2025, as the office deemed the indicated recovery period reasonable in the circumstances. Consequently, the OSP removed Mr. Ofori-Atta's name from the list of wanted persons pending his voluntary return to the jurisdiction based on his own indicated dates. Consequently, the OSP directed Mr. Ofori-Atta to attend the OSP in person on Monday, 2 June 2025 at 13:30 GMT for interview, which is today. The OSP emphasized that if he failed to voluntarily return to the jurisdiction within his stated dates, and if he failed to attend the OSP on the rescheduled date of Monday, 2 June 2025 at 13:30 GMT, his name will be re-entered on the list of wanted persons, and the OSP will consider him a fugitive from justice, whereupon the office will take all necessary legal steps to secure his return to the jurisdiction and attendance at the OSP at our own choosing. Then, by a letter dated 28th May 2025, Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers informed the Special Prosecutor that a medical expert has diagnosed Mr. Ofori-Atta with cancer and has earmarked 13 June 2025 for surgery, for which reason he would be unable to return to the jurisdiction as scheduled. His lawyer stated that to the knowledge of the OSP, this change in circumstances has been brought to the attention of the court, before which Mr. Ofori-Atta is presently pursuing a human rights claim against the OSP and the Special Prosecutor. His lawyer stated further that in order not to hold the office back in the performance of his function, they had Mr. Ofori-Atta's instructions of his readiness to go through video recorded interview for the purpose of eliciting his caution statement. His lawyers offered to meet the Special Prosecutor in person or approach the bench for the purpose of viewing Mr. Ofori-Atta's biopsy report, whichever suited the Special Prosecutor. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the media, this is where we are now. And let us step back a bit from the 28th May 2025 letter from Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers and place the matters in their proper context. I have intentionally went through a tedious timeline. The letter from Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers, dated 18 February 2025, clearly indicated that the possible surgical intervention to be performed on him was to occur on 20 and 21 March 2025, upon which reckoning the OSP carefully considered the recovery period and indulgently pushed Mr. Ofori-Atta's attendance at the OSP to 2 June 2025. Therefore, Mr. Ofori-Atta had a duty to promptly inform the OSP of any fundamental change in his medical circumstances on 21 March 2025, when the advertised surgical intervention was not performed, to enable the OSP reschedule a new date of his attendance at the OSP to accommodate any such material changes in his medical condition and treatment itinerary. Mr. Ofori-Atta has known, at least since 21 March 2025, that no surgical procedure was to be performed on him in March. Yet, he purposely sat by indolently and chose not to inform the OSP of such fundamental changes in his circumstances. Instead, about 67 days after learning of the alleged changed circumstances around 21 March 2025, Mr. Ofori-Atta elected to spring a surprise on the OSP on 28 May 2025, just 6 days before his scheduled attendance at the OSP, by offering to undergo a video recorded interview and a viewing of his biopsy report. Now, back to the 28 May 2025 letter from the lawyers of Mr. Ofori-Atta. As I said, this is where we are. By a letter dated 30 May 2025, the OSP declined Mr. Ofori-Atta's offer of video recorded interview for the purpose of eliciting his caution statement. This office has always insisted on his personal attendance, and we have indicated clearly to him that we are unwilling to waive it. If we were amenable to taking any such statement from Mr. Ofori-Atta in absentia, we would have done so in February and not waited to 2 June 2025. We want him here physically, and we insist on it. A suspect in a criminal investigation does not pick and choose how the investigative authority should conduct its investigations, and the method suitable to him and his convenience. We will not countenance such conduct, not in this case or in any other case. Further, the OSP has declined Mr. Ofori-Atta's invitation to view his biopsy report as we consider it a pointless exercise. This is because it is common learning that the biopsy report contains nothing more than a conclusion upon the removal and examination of tissue, cells, or fluids from a living body that some disease or malady was indicated in the samples taken. A biopsy report is not an expression of a reasoned medical opinion that the subject of the report is an invalid and unable to travel, as Mr. Ofori-Atta seeks to suggest is his condition, and for which reason he says he cannot return to the jurisdiction. This much is clear. Since 24 January 2025 till date, Mr. Ofori-Atta has failed to show any medical report. I underline, he has failed to show any medical report which suggests that he is a travel risk and unable to return to the jurisdiction by reason of his medical condition. It has all been his say-so, his singular say-so. Therefore, the OSP views Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyer's letter dated 28 May 2025 as an expression of utter bad faith on the part of Mr. Ofori-Atta, and it confirms our long-held, well-considered opinion and conclusion that Mr. Ofori-Atta has no intention of voluntarily returning to the jurisdiction and to attend the OSP. Further, this office is unaware of his purported information to the court, whether orally or by file processes, of the alleged change in his circumstances. Today is Monday, 2 June 2025. It is more than 3 hours past the scheduled time of Mr. Ofori-Atta's attendance at the OSP, and Mr. Ofori-Atta failed to attend the OSP today. Mr. Ofori-Atta's conduct is totally unacceptable and a baleful spite at law enforcement and criminal investigations. It ends here. It ends today. We will no longer accommodate him. Consequently, the OSP redeclares that Mr. Ofori-Atta is a wanted person and a fugitive from justice. His name is hereby re-entered on the OSP's list of wanted persons. The OSP will take all necessary legal steps to secure Mr. Ofori-Atta's return to the jurisdiction and to answer to the criminal inquiries against him. In pursuance of this, about 30 minutes before this briefing, I triggered processes for the issuance of an Interpol red notice for the location and provisional arrest of Mr. Kenneth Ofori-Atta, pending extradition or his surrender. Around the same time, I dispatched a request for extradition processes to be instituted for the provisional apprehension in any jurisdiction extradition to the Republic of Ghana. The OSP will prefer criminal charges in the courts against Mr. Ofori-Atta in due course, whether in absentia or otherwise. The principle upon which we proceed is that no person, regardless of title, regardless of status, regardless of medical, is beyond the reach of inquiry by the OSP. Thank you.
Asempa FM Ekosiisen Ekosiisen Asempa FM Obi nebado Biba Obibo Obiba Ode Isempa nabo Obi nebado Biba Ekosiisen nie bonsua wo mene sempa de brane mamba obi som obi
Somo Asempa 94.7 FM. Check with your time, 23 minutes after 5 on Monday, the 2nd day of June 2025. Ekosiisen wasuguswa utieno enti abejafo no wa. That was the OSP. We OSP. We SP. the Special Prosecutor, or the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and my update on criminal cases are all pursue, in the courts of Ghana. He started off with the case involving Cecilia Dapa, Waka Enoho Asem, Okabibi. Yeah, that was the first. We joined midway. That was after saying we were dealing with the very first issue. Into Waka Cecilia Dapa, Enoho Asem, Waka Bibi Afa, Charles Bisiu versus another. And another versus the OSP, and the Charles Bisiu and another versus the OSP, and National Petroleum Authority, the Enso Okanhuasem, and or the Ken Ofori-Atta die. As we speak, question and answers and offer. The real issues are now, of course, on Ken Ofori-Atta was saying already declared as wanted and a fugitive fleeing from justice. Or see immediately was re-entered onto the list of wanted persons in the NA. After this press conference, OSP website Ken Ofori-Atta din ebo as wanted, and no any the watimi the atuja one semwa ekoso. And let me come into the studios now. Memma ebiafo akana kwaba na yenhwe entwa so. Honorable Udru ha entem akwaba na apom te sen.
Obi mejoso me hoye.
Bibi ekoye.
Bibi ekoye. Na menti.
Constituency ne akrofom.
Yeah, akrofom.
Adanse akrofom.
Obeti maka na adanse akrofom because ya dance.
Ya dance.
But yes. Constituency no. Ni din dia akrofom.
Akrofom constituency.
Yeah, dance.
Okay. First time I in this year winning.
Sure.
And why a history?
Yes. Yeah, history. Yeah, no constituency ni na history.
Now gap how do we win that?
Well, 1,514.
Oh, that's the gap.
Total registered voters of about 29,000. 17,000 Kotuaba.
Okay.
And to some extent.
29,000 registered voters. And it was 17.
About 17. The
and that is about 12,002.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's 12,002. Okay, and I will be with 1,500 different.
Yeah, so almost say Oman to Aban. Namu biti radio so si bibeto no joada na ebiato no bena na ebiato no kwara namu wia nam pese wan de koto enti bo amu misinformation no ene ma omo twen da omo de no beba no makoto say anything to go by enti next time yes wo wi of force and as say be oba fine say or yes say or yeah na no onim so yeah no but anya no kwa because we corner read history na from 2004 but now we say NDC appreciate it every year. So na obi a obetima project bia na ho say achievable na a matter of time.
By a seat I obetima maintain.
Well,
second term.
It depends on say may a resource oriented person.
Okay.
Early days to say yes or no. At the end of the day, a service. So I will be judged on the Ejuma Maye
in the 4 years.
And that I believe that and party affiliations and we are getting more enlightened in politics and the benefit that we have to get. So at the end of the day, make my maintain the target on how I was a message.
I hear a major issue in the constituency.
Rules. Yes.
And then former MP no elusu
enya no kwa a contributive a major factor.
It was a major factor.
Yeah, but mean nkase enya no kwa.
Yeah. As I say, roads now are improve under your watch. I want to ask somebody.
Surely. Definitely a factor. Yeah. And until I say what's a mitran. Na me head ye bege. After 2 years me ba. Meti mama bibi kakra. After me third year no. Me hu meti ma predict enti yan kakra enti me jana me ka so me maintain city na as me name there maker
Roads is a major. I hear roads is a serious issue in the
constituency. Not a constituency, a district without a kilometer of tarred road.
What?
The whole.
Yes, the whole district.
Oh no.
The whole district, not even a kilometer of tarred road.
Close to Obuasi.
But we share boundary with Obuasi East and part also Obuasi West.
Obuasi West.
Part will
Adansia Soka.
No, Adansia Soka. Part
New
Edubiasi.
Then it's in the middle of
central. A gateway to from central to Ashanti region. So for bridge now.
Adansia Soka.
Until we for bridge
Obuasi Akrofo.
Yeah.
And yeah, bonfire man say at least a bind between any asher wakwan no ama yes idea.
Rose Minister.
You go so say yetime ama omaba. Omo so
omo start here juma.
Oh yes, almost. What say?
Some of the rules.
Kwano omo your first award no somewhere 2019.
Oh okay.
And 2020 after the elections. Omo a free so. Oma anya kra because first 2020 don't be clear no
okay okay
ya hu ma 2021 no mo free so kra and awohwa bepem
and I suspect say one issue I would hear campaign tia certain MP no
obi na kamenko ka dey obi say kamenka dey
no mo so the baby tia o
anything I make say dey me kan ye bia no no crane manko kane keke you onema ni bi wa wudu hwa na about him but me wo me manifesto me ye me hwenti krobia no minim nema me kokan no we are about 60 plus communities your land the land you will be but population na we are the 260th in terms of population, the population and land size, and because your forest reserves we distance from one community to another is about sometimes 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers from one place to a more but
Mate Indiama Wakwaba so why first time on the show
yes on Asempa
on Asempa
first time on Asempa
sure Akwaba
menso member wa baso
Asempa
mo programming de ma chief retete omo amaso mu amawaba but the metima ka fa Asempa ho na say time bia mo ma standard no mo resist standard obi wo ho a obeka say aso asifiri ho a ye menka say but anytime bia na foforo ba bia no or spice or the new energy and by no na mamebo management abaso menim say obi a heso be konanim isi a obe lawyer yenim say bi kra na da achi bi but boy juma and that e do awia de obi anim say but political shoes
sure
well say oyi 1 2 3 na won kan ho na say nipa kro no wa nyefe nti ubeti bedi kan ubeti mato so mienu ana bibisa nti koso ana boy
juma we da say yamin sha Atik Mohammed akwaba
obi hujuso
bibi aboko
nyamida chen
Peja Mike no kakra wadam fon so akasa wie sisi ya
wana wadam
enya kisi ata
minimum no Mamincha Republic of Gamaga for any way na me chana yuri so na mincha obia oti any way
sure
na you know Kofi Dikanka say otumfo ba presidency I think it was a good thing and a idea is saying you know they encourage him for no more. There has to be that engagement, constant engagement with the political elite. Because look, until the advent of modern governance and our Western governance, na ahimfu na ye presidents, na prime ministers, na BBA. To the extent that we maintained science institution, no post independence, no Charles is a very important institution. And anytime the political elite epim they turn to, so we can't do without them. And to that extent, they say intensify engagement with them because nyomuhuno enyeni nana politicians. I'm delighted that Opimso took the initiative to come see the president, and the occasion was colorful. It was eventful. Na we hope such engagements will continue. Kamiyaka bibe be sure.
Okay.
Kamiyaka say in the past, if we had such engagements, it'd be anka. Kwaya ebimundi fast anka yenkoduro. But Nina is in the past. Now we're looking to the future.
Yeah.
And I say ma your attention ewo whoever is in charge today. Na me fi say you be start on the light note and we are be booming.
Yeah.
James the tempo no de sura na wapija na ko.
Say kosoro preko.
Ese kosoro preko.
We wanna eka one of the issues and the discuss it OSP akasa wo hwe. Let's start with that one after yenhwe.
No problem.
Now finally
But
yes.
When you are Tontoka, whether a part of the opening remarks or not, but
part of the opening remarks.
On 2 issues, but on 2 issues. One, President Mahama ne yena na otumfo.
Yes.
Me first antimamu bay na sase so na yetie. And obi anim so ya pon a wodim. Ya sebe na nim die ne yansa ekron. And yede no ehwahwa ye ho. Na otu ana mo etisa. Yina ya bona baso ndi emse menu atuntu bona baso se ne menu apani Atik nso abona baso.
Yes.
Baby are not all about the dualization of the Accra Road. I mean, so frankly speaking, manti the course na man shed the course so na mini ho. But mean didn't they say sa kwan ye da ha ade free Accra ha Kumasi. Your dualization works be a me hu say feasibility or my year we or more year adwuma obi na ma hu say year adwuma bi okwan so kire say you do
bypass
dualization.
I get it.
I
get it.
Dualization no my feasibility studies no report and our results no meto na ka kire so na say dey we dey no an ye den until then no entutu mrika e wo ho mayam push no say waka sabi otumfo nye ne packet wasa o wo gina da nima na so oba wani ma obetima kan se bia ka che na sabi wo ohia wodi mu a se asem no kra otumfo say President Mahama kan no kra ni mo obeka che do a president ba obeka che into on twan na yenya feasibility studies kro na ye kan because me kwan na me nam so de bia ko region dem ba no me hu odwon bia che say ye dualization e wo kwan no bypass ne interchanges aye na dia ye bi wo kwan bebre so a no nkire say would dualize kwan. But
you agree so said you now all can at least from in Sawem
yes we say
Apejano or my
kwan free ko for pen so mass a pen of Mahama ba call ye ma tem bia brebia ye wu bro kwan so ase ye give ase ye what you say ase ye bi then the ye fan
we proper dualization
proper dualization e wo resetting Ghana e mu asem na ye ka
okay
but you know on to no bo asem menene nyina santeman pe kwan papa afa so
yes
ye che sebe ye chairman ya ye fira santeman tamu bayi kwan ya afa so abraba say na Polando de onunti anhwe ya I was my papa wona de bia interview no show because anytime bia we interview Polando bia no o ma manfo ani in terms say I am for popular request say for the sake of Polando they bet me extend the idea no be some week
chairman in kem kakra
for Polando to keep giving us update when anytime bia be friend bia no we are there to the bia me show you show now interview na to the bia na mu yifu na ma hu say obi opese osre kakra won nche
Atik my memory until let's start off with OSP
and oka the second one here on Boku issue no Boku issue no to the bia na menuanom e person mo politicize the President Mahama kan but menjin they said the politics Obia wana dwen. Baba de ya bedru no.
Honorable, yes.
Yes. Menjin ni say dey me who statement kra. Menkai me but me kai dey me tie ye. Okay. Na me follow me flag bearer.
Well, one of them o kan
statement o kan ye ba.
Say NDC wa ban mu a. Na bokwajo.
Yes.
Oba mo
region.
Aha, oba mo ya no ba dey na ho.
A statement of fact that
Mama Nenkasenwe, Munya.
Mama Kamisha, no, so
a statement of fact.
Or start so Casakwana Nunsi. Okay. The moment in honorable, yes. Statement of fact that Marintio.
Statement of fact that over the years, a Brebia and I'm paying you no NPP back Kunyason and to Quano and Impa Yanka Monamoko ma, but a no cresse and paying you no. Omampani Kofo, ex-president Kofo, and Akufo-Addo. Ntukano, epejani mubroso. Sani yeti, no krese wahosa. But so because no wakwe se sani yeti ana se nye sani yeti. Diye kwa so ono hajene. Wasi nyina ye pe no puma sibre. Me factions no back but me support the ekos me kusa seni.
Oh, okay.
The fact that they are women at the me mama casantement and interest me as something. Mobu baby says do for church show mo say film pim.
On your danchem.
On your danchem now what try him feels so I won't this year. And he seven previous mean chiefly ho. Na ya na yare ho ya se film say 10 be bet say baby a win free na jadam. What you say?
Yeah.
And he 2 4 and na yin na yeso akọ frɛ no. Wa ye bi ewo me ho say me nua Atik ebo gambaga se ne ko kire say ho nyina ye sabi baby a nema du ye say ye twa hempon sabi me ni kwase ye kaka nyema but otumfo ba mu no enne nkakran ya nti ye nyina ye mbodo no from there but do baby ana time be person ye kofa nema bi atwam say ye say na ye nyina ye ka ho ase na me feel say
Mate Atik, yes.
Respond. I can say we was happy here. No,
politicization.
Even started. Maybe I now can embrace. I was a but and you did politics. You yourself.
No, it's a political topic. It's a political topic. It's a political topic because you made it politics. It's a political.
Guys, remember. Honorable Azuma Mate. Obia akasa wo ho. Mama Atik nkasa. Kofi Owie ameba wo ho. Person respond there you can respond. But Atik, yes, talk.
Topics no na
the buy account or the buy.
Media
no be coming like
matters arising.
No, but just 30 seconds on Boku issue because it's a very vexed issue and I know why I'm restraining myself from speaking about it. But Nuclear Woman is President Mohammed here politics and he profited tremendously from it. There is no doubt about that at all. Look, it's beyond debate. So the Amanyosem and Onya home for sure. But you see, I have always said there are some issues we should be promoting more cooperation instead of competition. Amanyosem na we should just reserve them. Minka say we shouldn't compete as political entities, but cooperation in here can say issues of security, issues of health, education. These are areas we need to beyond competition. No, we should cooperate more. What is here? But yet the Bibia we reduce every topic and every issue to a ground for competition now. Competition we are. Then na be the amay cause nyama mpenyin mama kai. Oba enche ebia no ntokanu ema no hoso. Which belies all that you said about the fact say momo abemo and toko BNC, which is not true if you know the history of the Boku conflict. Mimi so nyina me wa Gambaga, I grew up in Gambaga, and if you know Gambaga, like Nayiri Nana, look, good fancy, but
my history.
You see, because Usha see a history, no, Usha say can Obi-Wana acquired to say because we free na akwe bibi nti media ye nyina ni bibi no Canada, but amanyo for the omo hu ji mu na Boku abeye ni abeyi o. Look, what is the genesis of the conflict? Say amanyo for the omo hu ejim, and unfortunately started with Nkrumah. What is here? And I have bedru pempenso I have bedri. But having said so, my remember the issue of OSP. Obi.
Atik.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, papa. Ah. Sika bebrebe a ye tue.
The comprehensive update our main.
Me ba ho.
Okay.
And the sika bebrebe a ye di go OSP. This is what we get. This is all we get. Hi, Radi Uncle. Ghana, you see, sometimes we do some investments that don't guarantee value for money, and this is one of such. We instituted our office to help us in our fight against corruption. Catch me which successful prosecution na papi ayada. Bako menkaze bomyenu bako. 100,000 okoji no recovery no.
Yes.
Ferimpo. Osuka yes. Papi da came, he lives like an Arabian king, and all he can do is to recover 100,000. And your dollars so. Ghana cedis. And look, we have
sometimes just the mere office being in place, no, can scare people.
Who the hell is scared of OSP? Who is scared of OSP? I'm Martin to time and there seems to be some fear of that office, but there's no fear of the OSP because the best he does is to come on radio and TV, throw words around, or kokod now or luzu potoa now between him no fear asa. And the next minute he travels more than even the president. Unimsa. Obi no otu kwanjano. How do you expect to run this office successfully? Abrada mbia how to play more utu kwan. And it doesn't go alone. Until I'm see ya bokegu. The amount of money we're expending on that office and on the SP, you have no idea. And this is all we get. I'll come to the specifics. Nedikai. All my updates, I don't know one case or Lucia against you have been MC is a DC, I don't know one count. Because the law says you update us on losses, convictions, and ongoing cases. I don't know one no. And that one he's deliberately not updating us on that. That's even a breach of the very act that sets him up. Because the law doesn't say come and choose and pick and choose which ones to update us on. Convictions. Cases. What? All cases. And
the law demands it.
It's an obligation.
Yeah.
He shall update us. And the update in the law you ni opeso harassing microphone now wabe boy no. And like I said, I'll come to the specifics one by one. Mamisha is in free member of Ofori-Atta the issue later, but Mamisha is in free MP. What's in your kind? Said they're investigating intimidation.
One case of investigating intimidation.
One, then you were not listening.
Or say some of the alleged crime,
and that's what he's investigating
through intimidation. And let me get the exact
which crime. The crimes are what I'm telling you. Say intimidation. You can say regulatory duress and all. Those are the things he says he's investigating, and that at the end of the day, they used Nina to profit themselves and to enrich themselves.
Sure.
And that they are able to find say sika over 200. Now MP crowd music is saying. Boni Musa Abdul Hamid, doctor.
I say between 2022 and 2024, officers of the MPA schemed through threats,
intimidation,
regulatory duress, and acquired property to the tune of 280 million Ghana cedis.
Let's try to break that down one after the other.
Buildings locally and 22 haulage trucks.
You see,
Charlie?
Rumor mongering is the preserve of the uninformed public. I don't expect the SP and the OSP to also join in the chorus of singing rumors. Mamisha has free the issuance of threats. How do you issue threats to make money? Chechim Lemfan is the CEO of MPA. He threatens you say one mam's car. Then a mayor. And how does he use
revocable license?
Meanwhile, if you go and read the MPA Act, and if you are familiar with the workings of MPA, once with your license fee, be license, he can't revoke it unilaterally. And I'm can show moto, and I'm can say, on to me. When you are threatening and I say, you acquired the license legally. Have you ever heard from any OMC say we were threatened, say a mascara, you better revoke your license? What be that? Intimidation. Who Mustafa Abdul Hamid there? Imagine him intimidating somebody for him to pay him. What if, like, just imagine such a scenario. Say he walks up to an OMC and tells you, say, you, I am the CEO. If you don't pay me, I'll destroy you. Can you imagine now OMC Nino Asoya Koma $1 million at their brain? And look at the flow of logical. Or see he uses stress, intimidation to acquire properties. What has it? How? Say me want me property, then the CEO of MPA comes to tell me, say, I'm the CEO of MPA. I need your property. Now all of a sudden it becomes his. This is what he's investigating. We are now kokoda. Then come back and come and sing songs. Sure. I know the genesis of this. There was a publication by a certain newspaper about Nyomobi. Without taking time to investigate and even get information from the newspaper, they hurriedly mentioned the name of the CEO, the former CEO of MPA, to include him in the list of Nkrofo they claim they are going to investigate. And I have seen a letter. Look, at the time they mentioned, and I'm speaking specifically to Mustafa Abdul Hamid because I'm aware. At the time, he was not even a subject matter of investigation. He had not invited him. He had not been told that he was under investigation. Nothing of the sort. Onuna Oman and lawyers after some ridiculous press conference, Oman and lawyers trauma omu. Say, look, you've mentioned my name, says ABCD. Now, you've never invited me. I want to come. It took a while and sana Omuchon letter say Ombra. And if you read the letter they wrote to him, they were inviting him to come and aid them in investigations for cases of mismanagement. Is mismanagement a crime in this country? Mismanagement is a crime. It just shows you are incompetent. And yes, sir, incompetence is not a crime, is it?
No.
So how can you be investigating Obi for alleged mismanagement?
Mismanagement leading to corruption.
No, Omanka it led to corruption. Say they are investigating him for mismanagement. How is that an offense? Say mismanagement here offense and can crofua. Hey, Sanka no cry say investigating. Because if you are not getting value for money, it amounts to mismanagement. How is mismanagement an offense in this country? Now, so that was the letter that was written to Mustafa Abdul Hamid. And then the story is that they used intimidation threats to acquire properties locally and abroad, and at the end of the day, you see 270 million. Usham Grofwa Eka or Muhasemi almost at 270 million. Minkaza is not possible, but Usham almost at 270 million Ghana cedis. The MP Crown Musika is saying, imagine taking 270 million out of MPA's coffers. Edujiba Yanko Huye. Uncle who say you attempt 270 million if you. And these are people whose accounts get audited every day. Have you ever heard said they appeared before Public Accounts Committee and they were accused of squandering 270 million? What be that?
Almost they are a regulatory body.
Exactly.
Almost like a cresa.
What is apart from the fees and the charges they get from OMCs who pay licenses and the rest? Almost what is here? Now, so this is what we are invited to witness. Now, Uko Kota, once you say this is the case you are taking to court, we are expecting you to go and secure conviction. Uko na nye you are disabling our collective effort to fight proper corruption and Kasa because you are focusing on sebi incidental matters for personal reasons. That's what I think. Mijidi says some of the cases he chooses to pursue, they are born out of personal reasons. Not necessarily because we are committed to the fight against corruption. Because as some say, how do you prove how do you improve intimidation? What I say? But well, I'll see you the court by the end of June.
Yes. All the officers involved will be arraigned before court.
Yeah, trying. But this is my word to him. Say Okona Nye, he should not come back and accuse judges of conniving and now of fighting him. Because judges rule on the strength of the law and on the strength of evidence you submit before them. Now, so one prepare case in the court because you want to show say unayo espina. Na case na nkoye. Don't come back and accuse anybody of anything. And I'm saying that look, we have wasted our money on this office. He has not given us the value for money. He has not helped us in any way as far as the fight against corruption is concerned. If anything at all, he has emboldened people to be corrupt. Because Obia OSP Edina Fa Biasu, the person goes home. Minyahu nipa bakwa ubetima kaza we die OSP didn't call court. He won the case and the person is either serving his sentence and abibi. Me who be that? Sisila yaka sisila mafu. Sisila da pass me. Later he came to tell us say onu na say na ensese onu na ese or prosecute case no. Now so he was the first to be loud on it everywhere, ransacked the woman's house, even attempted freezing her accounts and all that. Yeah. And if all along you knew say una enye una sisa we. Okwo yes case no truka have oba ni chino say it should have been the attorney general. No when a smile.
I said freeze account court catch and say
oh he doesn't have the right.
Need 2 means freeze account.
What I say? Oh print hododo. Now then of the uko na wakopima. What he doesn't he's underestimated the effect of his actions on our collective fight against corruption. Minkaso bidi bonia yamfanchanu. But when you make the state lose cases consistently, it becomes almost like a futile exercise to engage in as far as the fight against corruption is concerned. Ofori-Atta. Now I've just seen a lawyer. I see a situation whereby the SP has deliberately prejudiced the case before the court. On the application, the lawyers of Ofori-Atta
yeah, for contempt.
No, he must be.
And the ruling on that case, no, it's set for
on 18 already, and this is what they filed the process against. And you've defied the court. You have the right to reintroduce his name into the wanted list or not. And so the case in court now is moot. Whatever the judgment is, mogu and nimfasobia. So a case is pending before our courts
on the same issue.
On the very issue, the matter is sub judice. You come and already adia omudiko court. No, that is to prevent exactly what he came to do. What I say. So now it appears the OSP is not only incompetent, but is also disrespectful of our cause.
But let the courts decide that based on
decide what
application lawyers of
Ofori-Atta. I didn't say he's a contempt. No, me see he's disrespectful of our cause. It is for the court to determine whether that disrespect amounts to contempt or not. What must I say?
I agree.
And I'm saying, sir, you are pursuing Obi for allegedly breaching the laws of this country. But one gets you have no regard for the law and the courts.
There's precedence.
What is here?
And active before the court.
No, it's prejudicial. I mean, and that's contemptuous.
Contempt precedence.
It is contemptuous. Oh, you cry any lawyer. Such an act is contemptuous. And in a case, when we appear on this panel, you tell us not to discuss the merits. Where he has even gone beyond discussing the merits. The very mattered issue, no. Oh, no, I am no pasa. Says here, judge, judge member no bema. Judge member no bema. What I say? And again,
and I think me trying to say if the judge goes contrary to the OSP, what does that mean? Who's ruling?
No, not just that we are disgracing ourselves before the world. Say you have publicly announced, and you see, I see.
It will be the court's ruling.
Ruling that, of course, yeah.
No, maybe, but what do you? I see a certain plan. Unim, he's coming back to Uncle Anuma's story. No, at the end of the day, now when we are fighting corruption, corruption is fighting you. What I say now, go ahead and say, oh, me cry, I declare this man wanted. The court said no. This is all he's seeking to do. This is the plan. Now that's precisely what he's trying to do. I'm strategy. That's all he's doing. Now I'm strategy. He said, "Maminye ni minim say me come nima emfa nti mamindi kanye we. Amfa na makaze o. The courts are the ones fighting me." So we dikaka. Have you forgotten the Nkwanuma theory? Say okokota na ya pamano. Onu de oya Nkwanuma. Obeye ni obetima aye. Nimreso ana okoni fie. If you know a Jumano, leave it and go home.
Atik, be careful. He's the soul of the nation.
Who's soul?
The soul of the nation.
Then we are soulless.
To the substantive issue, our timelines are my and the point he believes Ken Ofori-Atta is not acting in good faith. Now he's doing
that. On that point, I agree with him to some extent, because on 21st March, also when him say, whatever it is, he gave you a grace period up to 2nd June. If in between time BBS here, what are you supposed to do if you actually wanted to act in good faith? Chiromani said.
Yeah, but that's what Ken Ofori-Atta's lawyers.
On which day? 28th May.
28th May.
Massa. Moment can grab 28th May. Nipa since 21st March no issue call it leniency NOCO all the way to 2nd June. One bar. I'll reintroduce your name. What January 28th we have a catch and say guli no I am wedding.
May no. And other letter Abba say the doctors need the way Abba say on the 8th or so of June. Also almost sign the
time ben and the doctors no catch because surgery is not done suddenly, sir.
It can. There's instances where it can, but I get your point.
I'm sure he might have been aware, say, maybe complication be developing and now there is some deterioration and it requires even further surgery. You knew this ahead of time. Why 28th? It means you are not acting in good faith. On that score, meaning you are doing. Look, I am not saying that Ofori-Atta is beyond the law. Me, I am one of the few who believe, and I am one of the men who believe Odigana Bonnie. And you should pay for his, you should account for his stewardship. But my issue is choir OSP Edin if as ube wanake is now bogus. Because if you start losing on some preliminary and some kitty, it disables you from even pursuing the case further. What I said, that's my issue. And to the extent that Onusu is acting in bad faith, no. Mbwa say the OSP has all kinds of issues, which I don't hesitate to mention and I talk about. But Ofori-Atta so no also. No but in
the 28th letter, no, on my option, say he would be available through video recorded interviews.
What does that mean?
Send it there.
What was the initial agreement? Personal presence.
Personal presence.
And an in-person presence.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, say if there is a change in your circumstance, for which reason? It's only fair that you write back to him ahead of time and say, look, this is the development.
But where ahead of time means, 4 days clear ahead.
Do you, as a lawyer, do you think that is exercise of good faith? Say 4 days since 21st March. 21st March, May Abba Trim. So that's about 1 month. And what you are 28th May. And I will catch and say 4 days, and just 6 days simple. Say month no 30th May. And it was about even 4 days simple. Maybe.
Yes.
Why be catch and say on the 2nd of June, you won't be available because you have to undergo surgery, which is on the 8th. They don't tell you say you are going to have surgery, even though near Kofika and womb. But Mijidiani say he knew ahead of time, like well ahead of time. Say this is likely. What I say.
Yes.
And you could have easily communicated to him, say, look, I am not running away from whatever. Name mom, this is the new situation, and share biopsy report and whatever he called it, Let him be convinced that this is the situation. Or see the fact that you have that report in Chile, doctors see you are invalid. What I say, and also, or he has a point, because you can go and do a lab test. The lab test might show some positive results.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you are incapable of performing a certain function, even though lab tests not actually say you are positive for BB. In the same manner, AB is our test teacher say indeed there is a problem, but does the problem incapacitate you from coming? Dr. Bianca say, what I say?
That's what the lawyer Saka said on the latest report na Abba.
Why wait? That's the issue.
Yama court was an OSP Eko Koshe. You remember that the OSP said he has declined that way, say on Koshe report to be and that's why he went ahead to declare him.
No, he shouldn't have done that because no independency of the case. That is wrong.
By the pendency of the case, the court has not injuncted the OSP.
No,
yes,
so
there is a case before
if the relief you are seeking,
yes,
somebody has acted in a manner that makes nonsense of the relief. What is the point in the judgment? I
understand that. I mean,
exactly.
Mufat case and all those.
Baby, what you say? But they also on question. ABS because he feels they've acted in bad faith. Until he doesn't want to go and see whatever evidence they have. Yes. But that shouldn't have also prompted him to go ahead and do What What I say, you may be angry at the exercise of bad faith. That's fair, and you are right to call that out.
Okay.
But your is also wrong.
See, he even had an antidote to his problem, which is on the 18th, a judge will pronounce on the very thing.
Once he pronounces your favor, you can immediately just pronounce him, you know, as somebody being on the wanted list again.
On the decisions of the court.
My issue is the kind of the disregard he has shown towards the court. That's a big problem. And already you know, so number, who do we table one and our table swa? How do you expect to survive as an OSP? Like I have said, left for me, we have got to a point where we must make a decision on the fate and the future of the OSP.
As an office.
As an organization. Look, the Adiba is Yengu
OSP.
One time. Because if you look at the amount of investment we've made into that office, the returns are nothing to write home about.
And yet early days yet.
Which early days? Do you know how long the OSP has been in existence? Look at the day it was assented to. The day they set it up. What is here? Up till today. Then he's been in office for over 4 years, or no?
Yes.
And if that's take it as if you take it say or an uncle president. Uncle we chat one term. Now one term one number, who's the another term? What is here? You see,
finally,
like the point I was making is that that office, we should save ourselves some further lost investment by collapsing that entity. Obibaka is going to weaken that. It is not going to weaken anything. Let's give the Attorney General
all the powers
and the resources.
Okay.
What is here?
Yes.
Let's give the Attorney General all the resources he needs. Yoko, let's strengthen Yoko. Shiraj. In fact, I feel that it's our time we amended the Shiraj Act. In fact, it's one of the most interesting. I think it's 456 Act 456. Even though in the Act, one of the functions, and it said they investigate corruption, but it's not expansive. We can expand the role and the objects of Shiraj, resource them, empower them more to also take up some of these serious cases of corruption.
Okay.
Because OSP now yet especially to deal with corruption cases, there's nothing to show for it. Well, Nami wa case I wanted to petition him, but I'm not going to waste my time. Jack. Yes, you nim owa. Na me hwe ne akukos we na me the case, and this is a case that is of serious importance.
Until on Ken Ofori-Atta then OSP Tremua, Ken Ofori-Atta is being investigated for 5 key issues. Number 1, petroleum and minerals revenue assurance. Contract
SML thing.
Contract between SML and GRA. Number 2, electricity contract termination. That's cancellation of ECG's agreement with Beijing BXC. Number 3, National Cathedral. Procurement and payment processes.
Okay.
Number 4, ambulance deal. Ministry of Health contract for 307 ambulances. And number 5, GRA tax P fund. Handling and disbursement of tax fund account. In the Newman Numwe, and I investigated Ken Ofori-Atta on. I will hear and say Omra, Nomra Meyi in some.
Some of them, issues. I think there is merit. Some, well, his investigation will show.
Yes.
Me, like I said, Ofori-Atta is not beyond reproach. He is not above board. I feel he has a lot of cases even beyond which to answer. But do not destroy our prospects of having him account for his stewardship by some of Oyi.
Very well. Mamena say Kofi Tonto.
Yeah, Obi. Yes. Very quickly. You see, we show you so a political show.
Yes.
Occasionally, you discuss social issues.
Yeah.
And me buy and a social issue. Buy and I'm so me cry me shadan ka ho asem. We am so yenko politics so. Meaning that the very purpose until this show exists, not necessarily say I want to politicize something. You put it on record. And bokwa sema me kan me say me can't be see Obi. Me can't be see say never again must we politicize conflict. I want to make a say clearly showing say my intent, my mens rea is not to politicize the issue, but to remind our number one gentleman say ne utterances no baby a betimi lead yen den akọ. Entimi wi am say ono ne NDC for should make sure say they will avoid politicizing the issue. When you go 2024 election, the only party go far boko asamba election message mu NDC. You can't dispute it. The only political party because Sabio party ben e control the manifesto or they boko koye politicization. But mo de enya ba ko nya mienu nya miensa
in the manifesto of NDC.
Enya mienu nya miensa. I'm saying say the ultra commentary yeah,
but not in the manifesto.
No, one thing they make me say yen political party ye control yen manifesto no. Yamfa boko ankoye politics. That America say yamfa anye politics. Until say Yera Mahama be make certain pronouncements. And no na me make say ye kwa ye nim no ye avoid this idea no. So I didn't politicize the issue. Ti men fa me asem ne me hye me kon. De to sim you no dualization asem de ebisa rent no meto aso. But obi antimi nsesa the fact. And no de mama tim ho ase facts are facts. Now Obi coming on there. Oh, by the way, Mame Chiamina Paul Disoso.
Okay.
Now Obi Adikoka so no ba.
Oh pa.
What can one say?
Oh yeah, and then I'm start.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I want to express my deepest condolences. The last time I'm in Inishia, I think it was early this year because me call US by me Inishia. Early this year, me Inishia, me no on my hand.
Yes.
And Ishia na ono kure ka chem say o Kofi wo de brame man formation na no say no Adikoka wo defense committee transition committee in so no so de o bra formation me wo no ukura we feel bad for Ghana. You know how Adikoka is now ni na sem no na you know. So that's my founders memory of him, at least the most I can recall. You know, so idea I am a and no say Sampiale the same. I mean, these are seasoned politicians for the fight of comeback. They played a major role. Na sebi tumia ba nanka omonso ombetimi to akoso aye adwuma me ya na meka che Adikoka sofa Mr. Mahama minister Reno Anju because I saw be minister and I desire. So to be honest, I'm deeply hurt by Papa Adikoka issue. I'm very, very hurt, and I extend my sincerest condolences to the family of Adikoka and my papa. And I may offer some PLA on only the NC and an amini has a me extended Nyamia Domna funeral and soon. Na yetim come near one day, Nemre panel or home quadia, as you could jump at the four and near Busiano. Inti Obi, I just want to say that now Obi and Minya Bako. Me person me yes I did. Once I was my dress coming. Me free am a awards.
Oh, okay.
Me nua baako kwaku afri fancy asare. Okay. And ye bona baso. On say small scale mining no. Ye wo kwan a ye fa so ye no responsibly. Enti se wutu gold ene ade ne mpokra wi a ye wo
Otugalana.
Oh, David. Small scale.
Small scale.
David. You see, no mama kase we are better.
No, I'm just asking whether you're.
No, because you see, the reason why he is not. I don't think you're born a basso and no. You see, if we are seeing your institutions are you back to say LBMA, and I back also to say SBG and a Swiss Better Gold Association, and LBM and a London Bullion Market Association. Omoye institutions are omodwuma say gold a ton we are see adwaman so nyina no omo behwe se the purity of it, which is the quality of the gold, is properly refined. And then another key aspect of it here, how the gold is sourced. Responsibly
look at the pricing.
And
traceability and all of that. So traceability comes down to responsible mining. Obesha PMMC, in our government near the World Bank, a traceability project. I think says I mean so to us. But the point I want to make is that Bonabaso as the only Ghanaian small scale company or LBMA and SGBA compliant. Only Ghanaian company or small scale mining company. It's a share how responsible he sources his gold. Well, meeting standards.
No, what I mean is no gold no can be sold.
Yeah. Only that's what I'm saying, sir. So my maker say we and Calbert. It's minya prekope. So ura Kwaku free finance answer. He's a young guy, just about less than 40 years. And why that kind of once a mine Ukrainian refinery LBMA certified. I feel na bino born home modern say the various mining to say gold coast refinery and then say MPP so mining refinery.
Which never worked for a day.
No.
It never worked.
No, but we just built it at it. PMMC BA just last year. Yeah, just last year. No, because it's never worked. I think I didn't create BA, and I make a choice a refinery even to work. You need LBMA certification. Yeah, and it's not an easy process. Okay, so my memo Minyana Baso, why are there? What's it?
Is he trying to open a refinery?
No, I'm saying that Bonabaso and Bonabaso or Kempinski at the mining conference at Ekosono. And era didn't any Munyambe president, so didn't any Munyambe Ministry of Lands near dear Gold Board, they were all there. Intino ura ya bawa baso pa na adwuma so a waye ya best say yen nuan ma maka no omonso ye adwuma pa aha omunyina
have the mentors, let them learn from them, and so our gold can be sold at LBMA.
Now Obi and I know na me hu OSP na me okumase nti me hu ya na se ka bi ba na ka na to so se be miensa enna soldier for is or more war. Okay, on say yehu a soldier for mudi executives achi. Wa share military uniform. That's different. We there a soldier for mukutatu and no mu hwihwiri on the side of the canams. Hey, na den Ghana no entokwa bi asi ha na mente ya na asesen. Me am shame. Enti achiri me hu an se kwabrane atiesi. Yera OSP. I say what a wow. Kumasi.
Now obey here now.
There be called the menka, but me the menu. I'm so what a wow. OSP treatment. And I say we dear President Mahama Kra Ghana sika nyina sha nsa no kra no. Yen treating is how.
Ona sa oye the corruption season.
There be one a corruption czar than President Mahama. And I cha Attorney General. President Mahama na yes constitution I can say. Mr. Obi.
Which is more serious than you can imagine.
So the protection,
Obi. You can say president here, the commander in chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, as such saying. See a beko sa. It is so be the number one threat. Okay, oh my will is the president. And only the number one person. You beka say threat. One is super. Because sabi obi obi edinsa kan yura mahama odinsa kan man ani ana sabi o man Ghana yesika no hwa na ehye nsa una wo ko school wo ko law school
ba obi dinsa kan OSP so odinsa kan man ni sunsum the soul of the country
obi mama men kasa me power chow mama men kan se ma men pese me srew na judges no motito mo kra na nye soul of the nation asan be na okay.
He says he's the soul of the nation.
I say soul and the conscience of the nation.
The soul and the conscience. And
then this country is soulless. Then this country has no soul.
That's why we hear our level of protection.
No, then this country has no soul.
Obi, the last 4 years, yes. Juma Abranti Edi, are you satisfied with the description? Say he's the soul of the nation.
Forget journalism.
That he's the conscience of the. Are you satisfied with a Juma Awaye to shape the conscience of this nation? Who the for corruption, granting chain. The conscience of this nation. Can you, in all conviction, tell me? Say Juma Omaye no matimiya shape the conscience of this nation. Come on.
I want to hear his answer.
I can tell you how much we've spent on the office.
And they catch them.
No, Ghanaians need to know the breakdown again.
No,
year by year.
That one I can provide it.
Yeah, provide.
No, but answer. Do you think he's actually the soul of this country?
Atik, is it true, sir? The building, no. The entire building in Yinano, or more floors, the other floors.
It was to be expected.
I've been there before.
And it was so being share office.
Don't they work with other security apparatus? Are you saying say Omuntimini Yoko in share office? Are you saying say Omuntimini National Security in share office? Are you saying say Omuntimini Police CID and any other high level security agencies and share office? Is that what you are telling me? Don't they work with them?
Oh, now compare small office be baby.
And you say be a sabi coffee ton to be a boutique and me be ho. There are other state institutions. Now no I'm a call Yoko for office. Accra Central. Yes. I mean you can see sir definitely. Omunya space you Accra kan ho Kenya ba. It are you saying say e dan yen timi fa floors in my Yoko. Now I mean only Yoko be adwuma because OSP has to work with Yoko.
Yeah. In some of the cases.
Are you saying say they can share? How?
And the office was set up for, I think 2019. In 2019, so we share details of releases of the 2019 approved budget of the OSP as at the end of September 2019. 2019 approved budget, now 180 million
CDs.
Ghana cedis.
Disbursement
releases as at September 2019. Now 5.7 million.
Okay.
Actual expenditure as at September 2019. Now 633,000. And that's for 2019.
So that was when it was set up.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the first year.
Yes. That was the first year.
Watch the trend.
Now for 2020 budget Sika Chama Womo na 188 million Ghana cedis. Revised budget 2020 yet so maneba 138 million. Releases, actual releases na 40.8 million. Actual payments na 625,000. Into variance na 137. I know okay the release is no went. Releases of 40 million echo, but actual payment from where 625,000. About this idea, so the remainder will go back to government. Good. Now about 2021.
That is when he was appointed.
2021 was when Kisi was appointed. Good. In the 2021 approved budget, now 124 million. Releases, now 81 million.
Look at the actual expenditure.
Yes. In the way, actual expenditure, 58 million.
From hundreds of thousands to
from 600,000 to 58 million.
The first year, no.
Yeah, that's his first year. And then 2022, revised budget.
That was just a year after COVID.
Yes. 16.9 million. Amount released, 12.2 million. Actual expenditure 13 million.
So it means there was even a deficit. Even though, not deficit per se, but in terms of the variance is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Between what was released and what was spent. He spent more than was released.
Than it was released. Yeah. Ain't it? Not just first 2 years under him, no.
Blow cash.
The
almost 70 million.
Yes. 23 ma 23 by no crowd.
And I'm back.
23. No, I don't have it here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it ran almost close to 100 million. Hey, Master Missing, why do you think I'm shouting about value for money? Now when you bakukra, no successful prosecution. You see, Obi, not even one.
Me, the mechanism so.
But I was almost saying you now so na. Any prosecution will be attempted. And a success.
So what's the success rate? I think that success rate what's the success
Zero.
rate? Oh, the whole
conviction rate is saying
zero. But for now, can you know you're doing? So what's the success
what's
rate?
The conviction rate?
And America sometimes the office exists for something.
Which is
to put fear in people.
So we set this thing up to scare people.
Fear me Musa saying.
Very well. Obi,
the point I am making is you see, look. The last time
this is the cost of fear. Over 100 million, in fact, could cut 200 million. So we are paying 200 million cedis
to put fear in people.
One because I say who care
Obi, when was the time or year Ira Mustafa first statement? No?
March 21st year.
Somewhere
I think March.
February.
Okay.
No, it was
March
in February.
It was February.
Yeah,
because that was when I know year.
Yeah,
Ofori-Atta the end of cancer.
Yes.
And I say you're June. Are you telling me, say? By now, I was expecting say, "Oh, docket cry a day." Are you ready? I be a one file cry or court. So what I say? Now processes now then are starting.
Okay, baby, I want.
Okay.
You don't determine how the OSP conducts his investigations.
Nobody's saying so.
No, but me chairman dream.
And they say by now, Nanka docket are ready. Who told you that?
Obi.
Investigation.
Obi. Or static can be you as how many years in it?
And they are check a crack.
What are we saying?
Still on way. Investigation.
We are looking at trend analysis. Trend analysis.
And move friends artwork good artwork guy pa. They be obey nine in
na picture we issue of Ofori-Atta I don't know what man. Picture there na
ni gaga na oye na artwork. On be we na guy na we ni dwuma. O we ya na nem.
So Obi, so my point is by now me expect to say what the asem no eko court. In any case, Ofori-Atta there no. I'm expecting say by now we won't find this nyina. It is not by force say say Ofori-Atta ba ho ansa na the Ofori-Atta court. Is that the case? As Ofori-Atta ba no ho ansa na the na court na. It's not. So what you do is that me findings in here my bibia then you take Ofori-Atta to court to cry bet me edi we are to Ofori-Atta so ankasa ade ya yeken fugitive asemi anka court will be the one to pronounce it. Say you do want some about court. O lawyers na ba make I say mrebia madam for be call court. The landlord ne call court. Na me ko jan nti we duru ho no. Na court ni busan say omo your roommate. So where's the other roommate? And also to kwan no say what to kwan saying? Or mano this time. So wa ma or the ntansa building ebeton so. But landlord in the court one can say ba ku ni ho nti no. So OSP bet me the hero Ofori-Atta court. What prepare will be beyond their court. Process is not started. The lawyers are appear in the process. No, the judge will ask, say, where is your client? And I'm Then the lawyers will say, "Bia, my lord, your client no ne home fano." Then the judge will examine. Say, is it the case? Say, client is incapacitated. I want me man saying, and I will bet me at a case in this one saying. Me nya lawyer o baka kra ye hwe ne kakra ye tie ne kire say this has been the process. Enti court no judge no beka say no lawyers in some amuka in regards for your client no me ne mo nya adwene enti ba bia mo client no obi amonya den mo nkofa ne mra se ma nkofa na ma me pronounce no fugitive. That is when you know say you are being fair. You are being objective. The courts have taken your case. They have even assessed which of your cases cry and what merits. Because the other can't will be Mubiana who could do court our case. The the judge will say we me to atwene we nya enough evidence ma to atwene say and think by now no Ghana for enya a firm understanding of their court no cry accept say these are real charges are prosecutable anameboa.
Yes.
Nti nye sanka nei Atik assume say ebi a merit ebi a meritorious ebi nye meritorious
but see also we drew leveler
yeah
onu leveler or prophet charges against Ken what show issues are all investigating it on
okay
and he says on those issues
yeah
he demands the physical presence of the suspect
okay Obi
because it is his right so to demand.
No, it is his right, of course.
Yes.
And I mean, can be so say Obi metie.
But it doesn't mean say papa na ma on to me.
That's the point.
No,
that's the point.
Even in the press conference he said
exactly
when push comes to shove he would trial him in a sense.
So go to court.
Why this drama?
Look, Adana Woody Yera Hamid Ebetna Bontin NYSA go to court.
Abraham, you had not even invited him. Or told him say he was
Massa, why more press conferences that you've won cases? What is this? And you see the intimidation or this share you move rather than say and the Ghana buying so called because an extension of Ghana buying. A bet me abejina simpi so near Kansama Gusua 1 year crown near Kansam Guso. And you know the advantage has BCE. Up to now, over 4 years, your good has been so up to now. I mean, what is going on?
Kofi Maminas, my minty honorable, Messan Swaba, Hobio. Honorable Azuma, Mepacho, what's here OSP press conference?
Yeah.
Matters arising, my mintio.
Obi Medasi. Edu Babina Obi, na maybe some was na Eden Awofa at this way too, who says I when I would defend the office of the nti na yemi won nipa na obusa question no na won so try say obepe kwan bi so defend because menua Atik de me oka ho asema me blame no but menua Kofi de ayem say wona wo so obusa Kofi de obusa won nti metia nyina no ehọ na ma won ho ye me wan wakakra ayi bia no office of the special prosecutor when out here
it's a good question
maybe say when out here
oh na buy
na de oka ho na omkote ye no ya sa abre no wo a wo sorry tia sa office no kire wa dwene say what we need is to strengthen the war they say we then up to now cry yoku wo Strage ho Attorney General office ho Strage we nyina ho enyo mo a eno mo say that be ye hia because a officer no na betimi a read I race ye ka dey say corruption enyo mo na mkai ana yetimamu a when so be issue my discussing more than 3 months uko radio station bia yes office of the special prosecutor o mampani akufado so de ba no de ba de a ekoye sese ba ndc fo nyina akora be kwa akoda fiase say no moga sese yi levy ba e be ye Ghana e be solve Ghana problems nyina the same attention and office of the special prosecutor e ba e wi ase ekora ekofa Martina Midu as Abreno now Attorney General crowd didn't want some court say nipa no cry above 60 or 66 years in and also court yes ye any the phone him says ye jai no and also ye could di as we are wi as ye naja the BCBC ayi mbia Martina Midu citizen vigilante or ye den a dear pan achievement it was our office okay be a successful prosecution or whatever okay back okay enya no ane yeto aso enti so biti abonten na wanhwe ne obeka se bia John his excellency John Dramani Mahama ba no abi office bia enti wo hwe questions na efrem nu Kofi ho bana enti mo ana mo de aba There was a human in a human way in a human. Office na mo de buy no so dey na mo de buy na be si nne. De bia wone mo akwa be si nne. Ida say mo de office ne buy no mo feel say mo de yenye mu mfirim. Ana ida say mo assess the competence of nipa mo appoint to the office. Because Matinami do answer na okon. Nipa na wa appoint no. O catch the Ghana for nyina ne wiase nyina say oye mother serpent of corruption. Ana meboa.
Nchimo you can say.
Primary kobre no tuntum pa no tuntum pa. What's up on some in a form of war. Enti kata hye na proye mu owo mu chirebene ana primary ye de bono ena enwa se bono a resign say ye man kwan man nye na dwuma ndi ko fa kizia jaben bae ana meboa
yes
obae wa beto ankwa no ma aka nsem bebre kire se ma no kwan amana nye na dwuma ekwa wieye no mwa ye asa MPP free power pe ana mframa kese bi fa no obeye press conference ni ade na menema o yere bi wo ha menti ase say no mo so nti ase no but who cause am
who bring am
say de wo kan nyina kofi de opa kire nyina ne say office no amfanfa so bi anye de amba
yes ana me pa kire
oh won say no won kan won mie wa no kan sa ba wo busa ye say ede no wa achieve a e kire say wa achieve hwe a e kire ni nyina ko wie say emfa so bi amma office no so enya sa na ba kire I will question when I can say when mumu ba ko kan nipa do soldier for do a
na bodyguard
omo bodyguard no kofi when I can
otukwa kwama ni na mu de nichi
be no de mo breso mo mansa de no be ya ade na ye electoral commission na soldier for bebre ebo no ho ban we na soldier for nti e be do ba bia institutions no
start with MP
oh soldier for soldier for do na omudi ma me e you soldier for we battalion be
NDC de be say nkomo no
enya NDC MPP asem
ma so police for crap peja SSR challenge ade masa don
what you say enti se kofi pe wasem no a financial loss to the state per wasem a waka kire ye no o submission away
question achievement
office na ye any expenses are ye incur was our office in conclusion a financial loss to the state office no live up to any expectation per your own submission but this office na sembe impreduasa the okofa na de ba no wabeka se yengu na se ebegu na omo baba beka se o ye ba ye na eyi ni free wa so meka se corruption cry no ye person engage in corruption ni ade the president ma ba on file sanka no on show any indication say o yi na free onye na adwuma pachoti ase
yes
enti because ye ba ye na ebe yi ni free wa ye de foforo ba ye ana ye good office na ka meka se ye person ye be ye corruption na institution that fight corruption but because we are corrupt anything ye ba ye ya be good office na enya sa na ka obeka nti sa fide no na wusuma ma no obi ani obeto nanso said the oye you said the oye new and the jama mra no because in the press conference na many Atik raise issues of one account for losses bia onya but no dey many Atik obeti mafa so na mafa le bia mandamus se bibi wo ha was perform ni mbi wo was obeka or a public officer or meka na onye obi sa na ye lawyer ni a share na obeye nti mu fi se bia kam na was obeya ono nti asem de person oye na wa ya kire ye no
we dey no kokota case be wie na obeka na obeka bia
ena sa sam na oka menim the case before court on the matter but they bia na a restricting from performing the official duties and Ogusa Oye. Because Memete Parliament House Hobby and minority leader Honorable Fenyo Markins and my assurance they say me can Ofori-Atta. In fact, our leader spoke against how our Omuko fee.
Yeah.
Our leader spoke against it. Now you know be one individual like you because Ofori-Atta there. And as a party NPP now ukomua. Nipa bebre no issues. I be bad until even 85 ministers back kind of performance any MP sorry. Anyhow or disrespecting or more. How or no more kasani ade on be kind. So who share or more individually. They will tell you about the man. But the thing in an say I was Oba. We a public officer was several or mine. So if he say we some or mine ye in no cremua. May feel think away ni quite a yet topic for discussion at all. So if he say be a new one. And Kawaba.
But the
Wobakra say 1 day, 2 days cry now bet my baby.
Say why boni bia. On fanen court or back court be in one.
Oh yeah, you here one no disem kakra or here near my back mienu bi. Sa state no a stage no.
Yes.
Court no do obeko. The always is here any investigation. Oh here no atie one no asem. And the bemo who said you are not dwene no. And then they were who no.
And yes, I be it.
Yes, emu adru. I would differ enti yemfa nko gina mra ni ma na enti enye se bia on sorry nko court wa keke ebra wo investigative stage no.
Yes.
Enti yanka nche ye papa Ofori-Atta say ye do man sikasam to ye hye nsa emfie be ye enso me ya kasa under Fourth Republic nko ya be se nyo no kra na ye the longest serving finance minister under the Bekesha the longest serving under Fourth Republic.
I think it should be Professor Kwesi Botwe.
Yeah, finance minister.
Yeah.
Longest serving. Fourth Republic na menka wo. Menka minister sana. 8 years under onu kwa na serve. No, are you serve bi o.
He was deputy.
Omo no mo deputy.
No, Pastor say. Pepra.
Deputy.
Oh, okay. Okay. So 8 years ni na.
Yeah, he is the longest.
Well, we they say very high, we bit much.
I think he is the longest serving. Ken will be second.
Okay. Nana wanted him to
be
the record.
Served 8 years.
He beat the
I think Ofori so with
June,
1 year shy,
yes.
1 year shy of 8. Yeah.
1 year.
6 months.
Okay, that's
born to Kabe 7 years.
What's ever mind my Yusikazem na Yesusu say? Because some are yatiti. Anye bia $58 million. Say I no kremua. Jessica, Akko, Meka National Cathedral.
Oh yes.
Jessica, 58. Na hwe adwuma e wo honom. Obi. Enti se be yama 8 no kra da so na wo de be yesa adwuma. Enye 50 no 8 na da so wo de be yesa adwuma we.
Na wo hu adwuma na de.
Obi. Se ade ho de se utimi kokko hwe bio.
Foundation na o say omo dig deep kwase.
Obi, metia say foundation.
And I believe 58 million say payment to architect ni na account.
Enu nko ya na
on my account. Pastor omra no me account. Enti masa obi ni se wa o man no but enya menya sure say Office of Special Prosecutor no pen ahwehwe no. Oba ne nsem be bebere em say enya honkwa no osuru me sure pass honkwa nkwaba. Because
say Iyoko for ho, FIC for ho, police ID ho.
As a matter of fact,
OSP ho.
Obi yeka we na me
sabe manu da su manu asem ka
yes
yes sabe chechani bi na sabe no yonku free no okọ na ohwe na daka na omo ye na e wo say omo straighten na ansa na watimi akom to ohwe na ho an wahu da ache sabe ye besi enti se wote ho na ohwe Asante Reggie wuntumi a Apolando ma commentary update every day ya obi na be ka kire o say oba enye special prosecutor don kwa e no be face no cause onu anim say eniema tintin hura e wono hono doso The jana so no bena. Fire service be any Ghana beat him control fire.
Na say expenses are oye bebre say mo parliament na mo man approve say on.
Omra, obana parliament na man approval.
O me ne ho ano.
Emra na ye adwuma, the law is the law. Omra no medware. Enso ni ani amana support samena. No dware na no wafi. Na okọ me say etada bia meka and that FM. Ye minister CEOs ni ade a omo nso wo ho nde. Emfa nya suade. Because na ma ekoso no. So wan fa suade a o wa sembo no po. Dachi bia be kwa bebo.
The law be the law.
You ready say your fraud say be account for your stewardship. Wo betimi aba.
E manen kike mu se Ghana
we no kwa de wo kwa na obi ahunu se masa. Wa be yi wan no bibia da ho nkrata ne bi se sia wo ye obi bia keep records no be office so bi ko ofie.
Yeah.
Ti e frewa. Wo bibia wo betimi dia be defend no to da bi ko betimi ye
despite the surgery almost you okoye. We are veiling the so obey video recorded interview. Actually say or you be a
so one for any dia maya na won so video recording interview.
O say the same thing.
And yet the same thing.
Oh, about
yes, they didn't show you fan sign yet.
You can be invited. Baby, you are then you get arrested. What sir?
Yes.
You will be detained.
Invited.
Now video recording when you be arrested.
One
video recording when you be arrested.
Now when himself be sakra nkadada nka wo kan na wo ma assurance say wo ba.
Oh.
So wo can we the other say in bad faith. Because if it's na wo ma ye ti ase say na me person me here no because of say cuz I bring a trust a discussion no craba but you don't give the assurance say me ba
in the OSP declare no wanted no fair
na me ko hobi OSP won na de na mra ye adwuma and na mra mu no koye investigation no we declare no wanted unfortunately finance minister once a finance minister
running from justice.
Yes.
Hey. By whom?
Or you want it?
No, that description alone can kill you even before Arabia.
Me feel like I did when you go to avoid it just by.
Or if you had acted in
open private jet to crowd and Kadiaba. You be be ma ko fa na aba. Oh yes. No here.
You say the mu believe in private jet, huh?
Mese senka wo pa
la bi so me bi
ye benya bi me ka se ye benya bi amenka se aban na benya bi
na ho na benya
oh
asambe na okay
ye wan kwan beti ma bo na ko fa na ba their interest is that obeti media ko fa na
enya Ghana bicycle
sabi sika ye kan asa fa ne nsanse no ebi ni private jet
anyway
I don't know every baby UK or say US or say
argument.
What is the cost of private jet from that place to her compared to Sasika? Yes, say Afan and Sasino. I know every crowd of properties cry. You bet me out to talk.
Then you are concluding he's guilty already.
Mrs. Say a bonwa. Patriotic. Then Casa bonus say a bonwa. Or what properties are you bet me and Sato to swa. Edeba sika foforo beba begu o man na edi bi be ya kwan e wo me constituency okay edi bi asisi adan edi bi abie enwuma e ma mabura ya adwuma ye nti yesre no onye nomra sabru ha ya ye betima betena ha na ye use hours edi aka sanse mu no omwaye with the one full plate
okay obi me da say emre na aka ni so enti
very quickly
meye sima miensa wontumi na ya sorry ko ba ansa
na fake
na won for Orlando na my
fake certificates na somebody
can for Orlando no my latest update
ala enka ho bi
wo betimi aka no
so anytime open so can know you can talk about it but ma me fan twem say University of Gold Coast and I've heard say okay, Professor Kwesi Botwe was finance minister from 1982 to 1995.
Another year.
Until the only booms had then the longest. Yes. But so far Fourth Republic in Kwa meaning say 3 years.
No, that was 4 years.
Also from 1987.
82 to 95.
Yes.
So 92 to 95 was
3 years. 3 years.
But I would 82 ni na be count there.
Oh, yeah, longest. But for Republic,
Richard Kwame Pepra betwa from 95 to 2001.
Yes.
Okay.
And Ken hold the title, no?
Yeah, Ken should hold the title under the Fourth
longest
and one of the worst
under the Fourth Republic. And that's what it is.
Hey, to Obitimi the minister from that time to that time.
82 to 95.
But some PNDS. Wow. It was theirs until they metamorphosed into.
Leadership is not about position, it is about wisdom at the helm. And the next Great Leader Summit 2.0. Where two of Ghana's foremost thought leaders, Dr. Gideon Titi-Ofei and Dr. Mensah Otabil, will share insights to shape the next generation of transformational leaders. Theme: wisdom at the helm of affairs. Basso 21st June 2025, 9 a.m. Pepe, University of Gold Coast Hall, Accra Business School, Spintex Road. Open register titiofei.com/event. This summit is designed for executives, for visionaries, for entrepreneurs, public servants, and all who aspire to lead with integrity and impact. In the I mean, sitting under the feet of Titi-Ofei and Mensah Otabil, Charlie, money cannot buy. In the opportunity of a lifetime, please take advantage. Na yenshe hawa and Nioma ABC Ako, you need to be there. Zenith Bank had a fantastic news about. Now, almost say they understand that sometimes, no, the month feels a little longer than usual. And that's why we are here to ease your financial burdens. And Zenith says, "Drew hona usika asa." Na bosumi na ya ose bosumi we de wadodo Omo the Easy Cash aba. Easy Cash na easy loan solution from Zenith Bank to MTN Momo subscriber. The answer where MTN Momo subscriber. Ubetime access Easy Cash. It's secure, it's convenient, instant, and collateral free. A loan with no collateral. With Easy Cash, you can take care of all your financial needs and emergencies with total peace of mind. You just have to dial *170# on MTN, hit option 5 for financial services, then choose option 3 for loans, and finally option 6 for Easy Cash, and you are good to go. Easy Cash, your easy loan in 60 seconds, and it's brought to you by Zenith Bank. Apply today. Zenith Bank in your best interest. Easy Cash where they are nipa bebre pa. Minim toothpaste we use to, but your toothpaste should be Kale charcoal toothpaste. Bidie wo essential medicinal properties toxins every nipeduanim wenum account be clear wenum kama the boni friend on natural absorptive properties. Eboa bacteria, bad breath, and emma wenum ye fresh all day long. Enti Samara Industries Limited at Tenase, and yafa bidia toothpaste kama under strict hygienic conditions. Share all the necessary production protocols. No, ye diso pep. FDA agiatum. Uyusu I boa papa in the channel. So my word and class 6 years and above, ebitimi eyusubi and adults there. It's highly recommended for you. It's another quality product from Samara Company Limited. Fre 0246 864798. Now ne Samara in Inkomo. Kale charcoal toothpaste. Happy smile. Atik Mohammed waha kofiton to waha. And an honorable member of parliament for the people of Akrofum in the Ashanti region, Honorable Azuma, and so Ewaha. Yes, Kofi,
Obi, you have NDC for
2 minutes now.
Omo raise arguments be at the surface level, no one where you'll be convinced. But when you begin to detail the argument, who say a niña so. Remember 2 examples. Ekufuado at the criminal on the Boama repeal criminal libel law, meboa. Nyina ye kase no na Boama the proliferation of media.
na se china media ni bi ye bibi na yam fom so a wo say adan na Akufo-Addo ko ka ho asem na na ma media edoso what be that? There are institutions in this country, various governments now setting it up. It doesn't mean say that government cannot criticize that institution. Or members of that government or members of that party cannot criticize that institution. Then what is the point of democracy? In fact, criticism is to shape how that institution is to function. It is a the OSP aba Atik. Na se bia ekwan nipa no faso no enye the best na me shape that thinking. I no nkyere say I can't say it. I mean, I don't get it. Enti Akufo-Addo ntimi criticizing media because he was the conduit for which we had media proliferation. What are you saying, Minia? I think you can go there. I think the aspects of the kwanya wa faswa na adwuma no, it can be done differently. And a man kasakwa my suggestions of things he can do differently. Me say instead say we do kofiton to be see simpie so no asopa na guni hu fi no fami court to en sone ade ne so won hu ba bia me mro ye ne me phone so yen prosecute me simple. Now do obi be to simpie so 4 years na ye ka say we corrupt ni ehu asem ne pomasi bra obi. How does that help? Sabe, police institution, it was set up by a government. Yoko was set up by a government. National security by a government. Haven't persons in those governments, etc., these institutions, haven't they criticized the very same institutions? And yet, na Enra Yenuya Felix, he was criticizing how Yoko at the President Rawlings FM. And yes,
it was SFO.
So I'm just giving you examples. There were various institutions. The other buy no cry no. I mean, I think you can say one here. China who crucify will be no. A choir who fast will crucify. But when that no you do about it. I think it's part of shaping how institutions must function. Lastly, Obi. Wuntumi asemi nyina ade ba ko pa ne ha me ade ha me pa ne se me wofa me nua panyi Yura Andy e make comment say yes of asema ye ntoto abo for me ha me pa because you see I think the way say be a political animal you know say in politics there were various ways opposition used to sort of I don't want to use the word fight, but sort of
it's actually part of democracy.
It's part of democracy. It is a sabio
all allowed.
Yes, yachi obi na members of the political party say obi be so obe kwa akoye dede obi so obe gina kwa matiatem ni nyina na say won cause any criminal activity. But say nipa na yes na obe ka say ototo aboa. The question is se sabio echina obi a wo ben no asemba who be expect say MPP for bakwa to aboa na me disi ho.
But that's the, I mean I like that. Now media need kind. Let me say in the last 2 weeks we've been treated to series of unexciting news of yes, you be need certificate, or be forging certificates. Hey, have you? But it exposes one fundamental problem in this country: our craze for certificates
and for titles.
It's a high-class society. So
no, earn it. Yeah. If you want to be there, earn it.
Be in that class, earn it.
Earn it. Says yeah, sebi. Wait there, Manu Edasumina so. One man church you see, Obi a doctor says here. Obi now everyone they don't even understand what it means.
Mami as well a doctor.
Hey,
we born in India Osro.
Hey, how now we
Hey, doctor, what do
evangelist. Mama,
my God, me pacho. Me wasem.
We honorable Osuru.
Oh, it's a grobi wa.
Okay,
immunity from speech, no.
Ends only in the premises of parliament.
Immunity.
My name is Yusume.
Almost at now, oh my God, now can a doctor not touch us to society? It tells you, say, this is a society that worships, we idolize prefixes.
Yeah. And
people feel say it is Masa. Me come it's not easy to pursue a PhD program. Is no joke.
Difficult.
It's no joke.
That's proper PhD you mean? Yeah.
Make a PhD any proper is just one.
Oh, that's what I'm saying about Queen Abba.
And that's not PhD.
And he said
no, I'm saying PhD.
Okay.
As for professional doctor, it's called DBA.
DBA,
And no, your PhDs, they don't come, they don't appear. You have no thesis.
Doctor, no?
Is a professional doctor of business administration. And no, it's not. This is doctor of philosophy. What is here?
Proper.
Utimepa. Where utimpa? What is here to earn it? Well, you must go to the hospital for alleged rise in your BP. One connect is a 1 year. Uti ampa benya BP. That's what you feel now. You know, me a doctor. You can't sign off as PhD. Ubwa. You have not. You haven't contributed anything to knowledge. What you must say in the literature, we have contributed 0. But Chrome Hobia sorry, not the doctor. Abonu. Emu media is so funny.
The media prop up
those jokes. Sebi.
It's interesting.
We have on the line doctors. No, so I what I said. Until people feel it is fanciful. Yeah. It is you can say status symbol to be called a Dr. Abra. You haven't earned it.
Yes.
Until people and it started with Sebi as of for now politicians are Najadi. Obia Onube the next time you see him.
Say honorary.
What is honorary?
Honoris causa.
You see, what does that mean? It means it is to celebrate you for doing something. It's not a title you have earned, so you don't use it.
You don't use it, that's true.
What is it?
Yes, Adesanka, President Mahama Koji.
Obe doctor. Bebre kwa. Kufo my mom. Angomi now will be called doctors today. What is it? I am a time mentality. No. Look, Ghanaians, I wouldn't say all Ghanaians, but many people go to school because of titles, no. Not to seek knowledge.
Yeah.
Until Sebi where they are Mr. You can meet somebody who is me a PhD holder. Now, so when you engage the person, you ask yourself, how did the person come by the title? Because people don't go to learn. They go to pass exams, they go to do all kinds of things and all that. And it's all about a craze over degrees and all that. Look, I had the opportunity to teach in the UK, teach undergrads. The way they've structured or more educational system is meant to impart knowledge. It's for them to understand what they are studying. But your ability to cram, you ought to be memorizing your more no wabi.
Well, to me the nice insium.
I'm any coffee. Anyway, bimukra. That's where we semi started. Ebi no man we beaters just to stay awake. Be cramming your massa. Onya download good paper no super. Adichia asa on kaiba kukra. What is here? So it makes people not pursue knowledge but degrees. And now I say obi sebi if you don't have a PhD, brabon jamba say din bia me nam 42 me ba me nibi. Na samasa. Na but you are trying hard to defend idea you don't have. And that could be a basis because this is false representation. To say who a PhD, for which reason you were employed. If it turns out we need be there, let's just say harding. What I say. But finally, wouldn't to me the question I asked was, did Yoko do anything illegal? As far as you know. No. But I also feel even though they were covered by the law and all that, sometimes nipe juma na muye. Ese mudwi nipa ho kakra. Se nipa no ho mfana. My argument is that if you feel he has questions to answer, I mean, by all means, he must be made to answer. But if he gets to the point where there is threat to his life, his continued stay in detention is threatening his life. Sebi, somewhere reasonable kakra. Because you can't be investigating a dead man. Yeah. Corpses don't appear in court. Yeah. What is here? Until if he gets to some point, now stress money bail, and the law allows bail. You go and set limits. Be a 50 million and yakwa. Nanye hamike say is the attitude and the conduct of the lawyer. Look, it appears people are reducing the detention of Wontumi to a political game. Yeah. Already shadow punches are being thrown. Way supportive way into and it's obvious near Andy and the senior Andy Apia Kubi. He made it look as if only one person was the Messiah. Yeah. But my understanding was that other sureties were arranged even before the intervention of what is here. But to create the impression say enyo noa ankapapei eno kra yenya, and to even attempt to make it sound as if the intervention of Garnimaku was meant to sabotage the I mean, what interest would he be serving trying to sabotage his release? But his narration and representation made it look as if the Osheda and no other application to frustrate the process. I don't think he was helping. No, if he said, as a lawyer, if the bail conditions are high to meet, why don't we go to court and seek variation and reduction? Now you didn't do it. Now or no office say time so kwa maminye. Now it turned out say you were waiting for somebody nani panubaya and also binya. And my understanding is that other sureties were raised beyond those who were failed. There were others brought and non-combating. But because of internal petty partisan politics, one person had to be projected as the Messiah, the savior of the day, and all that. Look, the freedom of Wontumi is what is of essence. You cannot reduce his detention to a political game so that you project the candidate you feel you want to support in the coming days and all that. I think the lawyer now.
Honorable. Simami Union Sorenko.
Say Breno. I'm funny in answer. But it's established say the Yoko anyone to me go through. And now more or more operating under the law. And that more so far you who say Obia raise any breach bia say or my breach and I say or my tiam rebia. Me banana meeting na me he omo ankasa within how omo handle this matter. Me name say lawyer no ono an nominating no ho a and I say nipa na ono akamu no akofa. But ye ni interest bia wo bibia ye interest in say obia wa for money bibia no operation recover all loot ye gi bibia nti so far as wo ho bon asem bia mo e be frɛ wo no why you ready say wo be kwa koyi ano wo kwa bail conditions any ade wo satisfy at the end of the day no ni nyina ya allege until say a court of competent jurisdiction aka say ampa would you for we are guilty of this that charges no ni nyina ye hwe nti we don't have any special interest against any political opponent nobody nti sanity na aya ka che madam fo men share that in share one do from Ashanti region Orlando
all Yando
because every time bia o the best status of friend bia no
you guys are taking clean and machine he's very dark
ka che they say o say obi a pe bail am obi wo say o mu nim na o mu yi na mo de no kodu kuma sha ya no ma ba be gina me ahwe na say wo ka say dey na o pa che say ne ye wo bibia ne ne be ya ye nwie pro o kan say ene ya wo platform so bu say obi o say o mbe ya o mu jai no
so o mu jai na o mu ma ne ntra
tra ha o me de no kokko na so mo kodu a aya na o ma san ba ho
he can jump
na o pa che say ne say ye ne was ana say aban ne was ma wanya ni dia because o dukuma say ho a ye ntimi ko fa ne ma bi Timothy Salam say Jesus Christ obi e okoju so ye bomb pie
but in the coming days I'm sure
I am not for or against media emrana na me hwe say the be ya o china bia no obi anya opportunity na on fa ne position say minister and I say be a general secretary and I say enkonko ye So wo free baby we na ko yenkuro nketo even ahaya akra ahaya kra baby wo wura na hu nipa na sa wo ye nipa wotima wo rebe ho se wo beti se obi anya kwanya ba kwanya wanya nti ni ba betima ko school papa o metima trafie papam ne wasa fu majapade asa ye japade a ne nana nkanso anum nyina ebeba be ya na obi de obedi kra school kra akonyo obetena so sa ne ma we nti na sa ne ma we bi ba e was isusu ye partisan politics wo na ye hwe se emra no be ye
nyame adoma you konsemsemi ye wasem bi ka bagayana nyame adoma next week
amanfo makoye properties e wo ho
me see next week e be ka ho asa
amanfo
bia we asema
FM 8 minutes after 7 yemre no aso nyame adoma china ye be san so ababio when you